What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 62. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Almost there, almost to the platinum.
Brian Majoma.
Don't dance with people's girlfriends. It's not going to end well.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And Mr. I Forgot Throwdown was on Wednesday, Brett Murdoch.
What's up, party people?
All right, people, we got some of your questions and stuff, but at the top of the show, I want to give a shout out to Damien real quick. He told me, hey, if you, because all week I've been like, hey, I'm going to get an Xbox One. He's like, dude, he didn't believe me. He was like, if you get an Xbox One, I'm going to buy you Xbox Live for a year. Well, I bought an Xbox One. There's the box. The Xbox came in, and Damien held up his end of the bargain. I have a free year of Xbox Live, so thank you, Mr. Damien. I appreciate that.
Don't squander it.
I'm gonna give you my full thoughts on my experience of the Throwdown of the Xbox on Throwdown, because I'll have a full week, but I'll give you a couple little nuggets later on because we have a question specifically about it. Without further ado, let us get in here. Oh, by the way, Seth, you actually beat Final Stage Boss to ask a question this week. You're the first guy to ask a question.
Yo, man, we're in Bizarro World.
Yeah. Now, granted, your question is a little cryptic. We're going to try to decipher it, but you were the first guy to ask a question. So he goes, people keep saying paying for games you already own regarding PS Now. If I own a perfectly good copy of GTA 4 on disc, why would I buy GTA 4 again on PS Now? And he goes on to say, yet we were told nobody bought multiple Xbox 360s during the Red Ring of Death era. Am I right? I don't really know what he's asking. Like, is he saying should you buy a game should you buy a game on PS Now that you already own physically?
I think he might be saying that, with people getting all, up in arms about having to pay for games that they already own, essentially people going out and rebuying Xboxes, maybe? And not complaining about that.
People were buying a bunch of Xboxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically I think he's saying nobody complained when they had to rebuy the system, but now they're going to complain when they have to rebuy games. And I will say, I complained when I had to rebuy an Xbox twice. I complained a lot.
As you should. I was like, what, $300 or something?
Yeah,
it
was bullshit.
And
then eventually, by the third time it broke down, they were starting to offer a warranty, but that sentence shouldn't actually be uttered, like, ever. Those words in that order shouldn't have to be put together. That's just my personal opinion, man.
Yeah, so what's the question? Like, why are people mad that people are buying games again on PS Now?
He's basically saying, like, why are people making a big deal out of PS Now and saying that they're rebuying games, even though that they don't have to rebuy the games, that they technically they can still go back and play them. And what they're actually what I think he's missing is people are complaining about buying games that they had already bought for a previous console. So, if you had a game on your PS3 that you want to play on your PS4, they're complaining about paying for it again, which they're buying a new copy, but when compared with Microsoft's policy of just kind of letting you play older games by being backwards compatible, you still end up paying more than your Microsoft counterpart would.
Yeah.
And there's no arguing that. That just kind of sucks. But keep in mind that's pretty much only for games of the last generation. Any games of any previous generations, like the first Xbox games, I'm pretty sure aren't backwards compatible on an Xbox One. It's
not yet, at least. Yeah.
Not yet. I mean, Microsoft may widen the gap, but so we're essentially talking about games on your last generation console. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? Like my thing is, as always, like, dude, it's your money. Spend it how you want. Fuck what everybody else says.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Let's move on.
I just finish up. Yeah. I just think that the whole thing is the whole question that he's asking is about the point of you can't buy a game for your PS3 and then stick it into your PS4 and have it work. You have to rebuy the game again. So that's where the whole phrase "you're buying a game" or you're paying for a game that you already own comes from, because you can't use that physical copy on a PS4 as such, and that's where that phrase comes from. I don't know what this has to do with Xbox Ones and Red Rings of Death. So
Yeah, that's where my confusion came from. Because Seth is he's a PS guy to say the least. So I'm
oh
kind
yeah,
of
he
wondering.
is. Yeah. He got very upset when I mentioned certain things about PlayStation, which I think is
Oh,
quite funny.
if he's a PlayStation fan, he's basically saying to the Xbox fans, like, if you guys are going to complain that the PlayStation, or if you're going to use it as a weaponized bullet point, oh, you guys need to pay for games from last generation, whereas we get them for free. He's saying as a PlayStation fan, well, at least I only had to buy my console once. So that's just sniping at each other, man. That's all that is.
Oh man, it never ends on the fucking comments. It never does. Oh, and by the way, let me say this at the top of the show. I almost forgot about this. A certain somebody said that they were going to be quiet for a month if they lost a bet. The bet was that, and this was other Zinc, by the way. He said that if Halo doesn't sell 3 million in October, he's going to be quiet for a month. He didn't keep up his end of the bargain, so we're enforcing it. You're not going to hear from this man for a month. You know, we're kicking his ass off for a month because he's not slick. Vamian, he came through. He promised me that card. He bought me that card. Other Zinc promised if 3 million were not sold, he would leave. He's still there talking shit. So bye Other Zinc for a month. I know you guys are probably happy as shit to hear that. Fans out there.
And at the same time, like, did he agree to it as well, or did he just say it?
He said it, and Final Stage Boss has pointed out many times. Now, granted, others that could easily probably log in as somebody else, whatever. We're making a stand here, because dude, you said this on your word, and you fucking reneged on it, like a coward. You know, we don't stand for that around here. All right, moving on. Speaking of Final Stage Boss, he asked us. This is a good one. What percentage of game sales do you think are from digital sales? Now, here's the key thing. He says, what do we think? There's no thinking here. These are actual numbers. So we're going to give you actual numbers. So games industry biz, they posted this back in April of 2015. I don't know if there's much of a discrepancy now. Probably not, but digital accounts for, I believe this thing says like 50 some odd percent. It's more than half, basically. Digital sales account for more than half of video game sales. This is mobile, Steam, PSN, Xbox Live. So people are actually buying more digital games than they are physical. The number is.
Well, of course, when you weigh that down with MOBA numbers, that makes sense, though.
Yeah,
like, what are you going to go buy a physical copy of Bejeweled?
Yeah, you can't do that. But it's 52 to 48. But the thing is, what we don't know is if we're just talking consoles, that's what we don't know. How many console owners are buying more digital over physical, or vice versa? That's what we don't know.
Does that the number that the over 50%, does that include PC as well?
Yeah, Steam.
Oh man, yeah, that's going to heavily skew it as well.
Yeah, because PC guys don't buy physical shit. It's all digital.
You can't buy a physical copy. You go to the store, buy a box. It's got a Steam code in it.
Funny enough, that's only with Metal Gear Solid 5 so far. They had the audacity to pretty much have the Steam installer on the disc that you bought. Like, the actual file itself on the physical copy of Metal Gear Solid 5 was like 8-point-something megabytes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it literally is they gave you the installer for Steam, and that's it, which I think was stupid. Which is why I'm not buying it until next year, because fuck you, Konami.
Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to just when it comes to just consoles, that's where we don't really know. I'm going to guess digital has gotten bigger. You know, I mean, look what happened with Destiny. Like, it sold more physical copies on Xbox, right? But it sold way more digital on PS4, and it actually sold more overall on PS4. So I don't know the exact numbers, obviously, but I'm guessing it's pretty significant too. You know, on Xbox and PlayStation. But again, we don't know. I think he's asking us because he's some people don't think that digital games are not, some people don't think that these games sell that well. Yes, they do. Digital sells a lot. It's convenient. People like it,
Yeah. You don't need to go to a store, wait online. I mean, you can see the way things are going. Have you ever looked at one of those like day one launches?
Yeah. I'm going to, if I had to hazard a guess, I'm going to say between like 33-45% are digital. For consoles, just strictly consoles.
I'm gonna go about a third.
Yeah, that's why I said 33 to about a
I think console space, like hard drive space, is a bigger concern amongst console users than it is amongst PC users. So I think you might still see a bit of reticence. Like, the only reason I don't just download all my damn games is I don't have, like, I've already had to clear off my hard drive a couple of times.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't think there's a difference anymore. Like, everything I buy for PS4, it installs like the full game on the drive. So
thank you for saying that.
Yeah, so it's like if I have a disc of Metal Gear Solid 5 where I bought it digitally, it makes no difference. It takes up the same amount of space on the drive. So it's just more convenient for people to just buy it. I'm figuring it's got to be more than a third of sales are probably digital. And you got your library. If you got PSN or Xbox Live, they keep records of all that shit in your account. So I could go on my library. Like right now, I have Wolfenstein: The New Order. I bought it in the flash sale the other day, right? I don't have space for that. I mean, Fallout took up the rest of my hard drive, so I can't install it. But I will eventually when I'm done with Fallout, or I'll clear off some of the captures I have and install it. But right now I don't have it. But it's in my library, right? I didn't buy the disc. I just said, screw it. There's a good deal on it. It was like $9. I bought it.
Hey, Chris, I got that same game for a better deal for free.
But you got them review powers, brother.
Not review, man. PSN was selling that shit for free, man. They were giving it away like in January or something, man.
Oh, I missed that one. But they had it this weekend, the Black Friday flash sale or whatever.
Dude, they had The Witcher for $25, man. Crazy shit.
Yes.
Wow, that's expensive.
Get out of here, Brian.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger, man.
What was the Steam? The Steam version probably was cheap, right?
Oh, it's not that. It's like GOG. GOG was just ridiculously cheap. Like I got mine like pre-launch for essentially $25.
Oh wow,
that's crazy. Well, actually,
aren't those stolen codes though from GOG?
No, GOG is owned by CD Projekt Red. It's officially the platform.
What is the platform that people are getting real pissed off because it was essentially stolen keys being black market?
What last I remembered was maybe Green Man Gaming or CD Keys, one of those two. I'll put them both under the bus.
Man, I like your head shaking, man. That said it all right there. It's like you can get games cheaper on PC. Get them for free if you pirate them. You know.
Well, yeah, no, that's not what I meant. But
everyone knows that, but yet the prices are so cheap that there's no point of pirating.
That's exactly why I think Steam does it that way, where they just drop the prices so low like that, just to kind of totally undermine all of the piracy that happens.
Well, it's not even undermining. It's like if you give people a platform to acquire their games easily, they're not going to pirate it.
Definitely.
They're not going to be bothered.
Yeah,
and you put it at a reasonable price. This is what TV and the movie studios need to learn. We don't want to subscribe to 50 fucking things. All right, guys?
Save it for because we have a specific question about that later on.
Oh, okay.
We have a specific question about that. Yeah, there you go. Next question here, Final Stage Boss. Do you think Sony learned their lesson and will not be arrogant next gen with the launch of the PS5 after they dominated with the PS4? Good question, because we all see what happens with not just Sony, with everybody. It's like they have one successful console, then they come back and they're assholes about it the next gen, not learning their lesson.
Isn't it going to depend on how the rest of this console generation goes? Like, if Sony just runs with it the rest of the generation, oh, God help us all.
Yeah.
But then also, I think it also depends on like who's like at the head of the helm, because like whoever was head of PS3 is not head now, so it kind of depends on who's the same thing with the PS2. Whoever was head then was not head of the PS3 time, so it kind of depends on management as well.
That's a good point, because think about it, even with Xbox, right? Who was head before and who's head now, and look at the difference that's made. It's a good point. Here's my question. I mean, this isn't related, but is related. Will we see a PS5? That's the other question. I'm like, who knows?
I think we'll see one more console. Because the current consoles, and I know this, God, I don't want to even get into this conversation yet.
I already know what you're going to say, right? I already know what you're going to say, and I agree. They're underpowered. Just say it.
Well, essentially that's the core of the argument, but I think more that there's not room for expansion. Like, Microsoft kind of had a good idea with the sense that we're going to supplement the power of this with the cloud, but they didn't really build the capabilities fully into the machine in line with today's infrastructure. So, like, the idea is there. And I think that you're going to see a console that can be either boosted via network cloud computing or be somewhat modular or something like that. Like the next iteration you'll see, there will be a way to boost its power to increase its longevity, I think, as opposed to being just a static, immovable box. Like even in the sense that if the next generation of consoles did not have easily removable pop-in, pop-out hard drives and like modular swapping, I would be fucking shocked because 6-year-olds can build their own damn computers at this point. So like what's that?
Xbox doesn't have a pop-in, pop-out one though.
And that fucking shocked me too. Like you guys are going backwards on this. Like it should be a little button that you press on the front and it pops out like a little drawer, so you can have a library of these goddamn things full of digital games. Like why are you not doing that? That just makes more money for you. And then, God forbid, maybe you take that savings and you drop down the price of digital games and get people to have these like little fucking hard drive libraries that, ironically, will look like VCR tapes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could go off on this right now because it's a great topic. Anyway, about the specific question, do we have any other answers here? Arrogance is 5. Will Sony? You already answered it, Brian. You said it depends on who's in charge.
I'll say from what we're seeing now, Sony's being pretty humble and honest about their success right now, right? They're like, we don't understand what's happening, and they've been pretty humble and open about it. So I would say no, unless, like Brian said, unless the head of PlayStation when PS5 comes out is another Dan Matrick. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the way they're going now, they've been pretty mellow and humble and thanking their good fortune, and if that keeps up, I don't see them going into PS5 like, hey bitches, $800, pay up. Start mopping some floors by your PlayStation.
Go suck a dick in the back of an alley.
Damn.
Oh man! All right.
I suspect that's not enough to buy a PlayStation.
Yeah,
hit the streets. PlayStation 5 is out.
All right. The last question here from Final Stage Boss. This is a good one too. When games are reviewed, story is a big part of the review. So how do you review a game with no single-player campaign in it? Do you automatically dock points for story? Ooh, man. So go ahead, Brian.
I think this question is quite easy for me since I did Elite Dangerous review, and that had no story at all. It's just you put in the world and just go. I just didn't account for that because you can't review something that's not there. So essentially, you need to look at your review without it. So you have to ignore it essentially. Like you can't dock points for not having single player because again that's not fair. Because then you could essentially dock points for not having multiplayer using the same logic. So I just don't think that that's fair. So the best solution in my eyes is just not to count it in the review score in like in general, which is what we do here at the Coalition, which I think is fair.
I was just about to say that, like, in the way we set things up here, if the game doesn't have a story, if you don't put anything in a category, it'll tabulate the score without it, and it'll still be rounded up exactly. So that's the way things are done here. And then again, see, this where it goes into the personal thing. Me, personally, like, if a game doesn't have a single-player mode, first of all, what kind of game is it? If it's a game like Elite Dangerous, that kind of game doesn't need a story. A fighting game, that doesn't need a story. An RTS, it doesn't really need a story. If it's a game that's supposed to have a story and the story is shitty, then you dock points for that if the story is shitty, But the thing is, again, it depends on the game. If the game is heavily multiplayer focused, then I will have to count multiplayer in it. But if multiplayer is just a side thing, I won't count multiplayer at all, even if it's shitty. Like, I didn't review Tomb Raider, the last Tomb Raider, but okay, Tomb Raider got really high scores, right? Nobody counted the multiplayer at all. Brian, do you think that was fair? And you reviewed the game too,
really,
by the way.
Because again, like I did it for FTF and Play, and I counted multiplayer, and I said that it was just terrible and useless and tacked on, which it was. So you docked points. Well, you had to dock points, but we didn't do a point system, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They should have docked points because the multiplayer is part of the game, and it was terrible.
But is it to me? It's like if you buy a really nice house, right? There's a shitty dog house. Do you really gonna count that? It's like the house is really good. Like, you really gonna count the dog house too? Who the fuck cares about the dog house? You bought the house, not the dog house. That's the way I see it, at least. I know some people don't see it that way, but like, if I were to review the game, I wouldn't have docked it for that. Same thing with Dead Space 2, horrible multiplayer. I wouldn't dock it for that because it's just a side thing.
There's no other instance where you're going to dock a game for a lack of substance. Like, you don't hold Metal Gear Solid up to the same freedom marker that you do a Bethesda game. And that's the very reason why I oftentimes like argue that when you kind of judge a Bethesda game, you have to give it a little bit of leeway because of how expansive the game is. Like, you're not going to judge the Order necessarily because you can't open every single door or because you can't pick up every item, because it's not that kind of game. You judge a game in the context that the game is built in, and whether or not it succeeds at what it sets out to do. If I say I'm going to bake you a cupcake and I give you a goddamn cupcake and I'm like, isn't that delicious? And you're like, yeah, it's no steak. I never said I was going to give you a fucking steak. I said I was going to give you a cupcake. Did the thing I brought to you deliver in the context of a cupcake? Then yes. Then I don't care if you wanted something savory. It's still a good cupcake.
Yeah, this is why I got kind of annoyed with people talking about the Order. Oh, it didn't have this, it didn't have that. It's like, talk about what it did have. Don't talk about what it didn't fucking have. But that's a little bit off topic, but yeah, it's like if the game has multiplayer, but the multiplayer literally has nothing to do with the single player, and the single player is really, really good, then same thing with The Last of Us. The multiplayer was shit. I didn't care about that. I care about the single player, And I know some of you guys love the multiplayer. No, I didn't like it. I wouldn't count it against it at all.
And then, like, multiplayer has to count for something because it's still part of the package that you get with the game.
But it depends on the game, though. Like, if
I don't think that it depends on anything. Like, I'm in the camp that you look at the whole product as a whole and you just evaluate it as is.
But the thing is that, again, multiplayer is such a separate thing from the main part of the game.
Yeah, but
it's bad. I don't see the problem with. It's part of the. Like I said, it's like you get in a doghouse. Okay, whatever. It's like, is the quality of the doghouse going to affect what you think of the actual house you're interested in? No, you don't care.
Then you should still say, hey, this house is amazing, but it has a shit doghouse.
No, you could mention it. I just personally wouldn't dock it. I would just mention it.
Yeah, I think doghouse is not quite the apt metaphor.
This is an apt metaphor for me. That's the way I see it.
Let's replace that with yard, because nobody gives a fuck about a doghouse. It's easily replaceable. It doesn't share enough in common with the idea of multiplayer.
And that's why I used it for me. That's how I see multiplayer.
but see, that's the thing. You can fix a doghouse, or you can get rid of a doghouse. It's not taking away. Like if you use the analogy of a yard, maybe a little bit more. Like, some people don't care about having a nice yard, but if you tried to sell a really nice house with a shitty yard, and you don't mention the shitty yard, somebody's going to be upset that you didn't mention it. So that's why if you involve a crappy version of something, somebody I agree with Brian. You have to at least mention or pay note to it. But there's this thing, it sucks. You could ignore it, but it is there and it does suck.
Yeah, no, you have to do that. I always did that with every multiplayer that I'm like, oh yeah, there's multiplayers here. It sucks. Don't worry about it. Focus on the real game. I mention it, but I'm not gonna dock points because of that. It's like
how it says the real game. That's brilliant.
Hmm?
I like how you just say the real game.
Yeah, the real game, the main game. Manny, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really found one fully multiplayer game that could keep my interest more than 30 minutes. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but everybody has their own style. But you should at least
exactly. I'm sure there's definitely people that just they fall into that zone. It's comfort gaming. The Call of Duty type of games are kind of like that, where it's like they just continuously play and play and play and play. The challenge always changes, but it's not something I'm really interested in.
Some people, to me, multiplayer is a doghouse. To some people, multiplayer could be a basement. The basement could be your man cave, that's where you're gonna spend all your time, there's a big house above you, but you don't care about that. You care about that basement because it's yours.
I don't know. I mean, I just see multiplayer as just like a playground. It has there are objects there in the playground that you can choose to play with. You can play with the other kids, or you could not play with the other kids.
See, I personally view multiplayer.
There are rules to the games that you play. Shoot the other guy first. Grab the flag. Usual stuff. It's like it's literally the video game version of playing in a schoolyard.
Well, does nobody else see the multiplayer as the longevity of the whole thing? Like, I can play a game
that's
and
what they try to sell. That's what they try to sell multiplayer as. But like I said, personally to me, that's not longevity for shit. Like, I'm gonna be done with your game in a month or two, and that's that. You know.
I guess I can understand that. I think what everybody's fighting for.
I also think of it as like once you've already figured out all the rules and all this stuff, there's those that want to continue to play because of competitive reasons or trying to improve themselves, and there are others that just like kind of say, oh wow, great, I'm gonna go over here now and play this other playing this other schoolyard.
I think they're all actually competing for the niche of the fallback game, though, and I think that they know that. They don't necessarily want you or need you playing their game for 6 hours every day. They want you to drop back in every month or two, buy a DLC pack, play it again for a couple weeks, and then move on to the big game or whatever. But they just want your attention afterwards. It's kind of an application of the Blue Ocean strategy Nintendo tried to implement, but it actually works. It's not bad. It's just the only problem is, and I think Warcraft figured this out, or the people fighting Warcraft figured this out. You can only have one fallback game because that's the one that you always go back to. And Warcraft was the same way. Everyone's like, oh man, I'm going to try and make this MMO. I'm going to try and make this MMO. Why doesn't everybody play this? And everybody's response was the same. Like, I've already put time into Warcraft, and I can only play one, so I'm done. Like, first person to tap that market wins. Like, that's the end of that shit right there.
Damn it, this is the third question in a row that has like a deeper subject that I really want to delve deeper into, but we can't. Damn it. Good stuff, guys. All right, next question. Gorito has some for us. Do you think PS Now will eventually include PS4 games in the catalog, especially now that more devices are including PS Now apps natively? If it does, do you care? I'm going to answer the first part. No, I don't care, because I don't care about PS Now. I'm not paying, like, what is it, some exorbitant fucking price to play PS3 games.
Isn't he saying won't you be upset if other
machines you can pay for the games individually?
What?
Remember that, Tony? You can buy the games individually.
Why would I could just buy the games physically then? Can I? Or games are already owned?
Sorry, you can buy the games individually, not digitally. As like you can buy them one by one if you want.
But at this point,
as many people in the comment section like to repeat over and over again, as if we don't fucking know that already.
Because but again, who cares? Who cares? The PS Now, it's...
No one cares.
Yeah.
And that guy's going to be very mad with me.
Okay. That one guy. Is it your hater, the Brian Monjuma guy?
I don't know. I forgot the name, but some guy was like mad at like me and was it Michael A? Because apparently we didn't mention that you can buy the game one by one. Even though that we did, and we made a joke about it. Hey, he decided not to listen, but that's just him.
Yeah. So yeah, to answer the last part of the question, no, I personally don't care. I don't really care about PS Now. If it makes sense, I think it will eventually have PS4 games because this thing you could play it on everything, on streaming devices and mobile and all that shit. So probably, but not now, not anytime soon.
I don't know about that. I definitely think it kind of hurts their own business.
Well, that's why I said later.
I think that what will happen is that you'll see maybe a lot of the independent games on PS Now rather than the kind of heavy duty games. Like I don't think you'll see the new Uncharted on there anytime soon.
Oh hell no!
Or even toward the end of it. I think once the next console comes along, I think that's when we'll start seeing PS Now, PS4 games.
Or maybe closer to the end.
PS Now even lasts that long.
Yeah, who knows how PS Now is going to do, but yeah, or maybe towards the end of the life cycle, or maybe a year or two, maybe 2 years after whatever game is released. Like Uncharted 4 will be released maybe 2 or 3 years from now on PS Now. But then again, who's going to give a shit by then? But who gives a shit now? Whatever. All right, what do you guys think? PS4 games on PS Now.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see it anytime soon. I don't think, honestly, I'll agree with Manny. I don't think you see it this generation. I think it would just hurt their business, like he said. I mean, they want to sell games now. If they had them streaming and you could just stream it to your Bravia TV, like if I could stream Metal Gear Solid 5 to to just any device, then why would you buy it, right?
Yeah. Why would you even at that point? Why would you even want to invest in
a
new
PlayStation?
Yeah.
It's a good
So
point. Exactly.
yeah, I think they would just stab themselves in the foot with that one. So they're going to keep any of the current games, the newer games, the library. They may stagger it 2-3 years, but I think they'll stagger it till we're done with this generation.
All right. Any other thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it.
There's much to say about PS Now.
Well, there's not really much. Like, again, PS Now has it taken off as well as Sony has thought, or does anyone know? Because I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit either. I really don't care.
I don't know anyone that uses it. Like, honestly,
neither do I.
I only used it when I got the free code, and that's about it.
Okay.
I think I gave away the free code, but anyway, yeah.
As soon as I saw the pricing, I'm like, nope, this shit is not for me.
Yeah, then your thing is you also look, you know, they supposedly give you a little bit of a price cut when you have PlayStation Plus, but to be honest, it's not that much of a thing. You're literally paying for another service outside of the other service, the online service. So in order to play PlayStation Now, you have to have PlayStation, probably PlayStation Plus, and then also PlayStation Now. So you have to pay for two different things, right?
Yes,
is that how it goes?
Yeah,
basically. Unless PlayStation Now is not. Unless PlayStation Plus only affects the multiplayer aspect of games.
Yeah. By the way, I need to apologize to our fans for us not being informed on this. This shows you how much we care about PlayStation Now. We don't give a shit about PlayStation Now.
What that we didn't know that it was going to be on a Bravia TV?
We knew that, but
we knew that.
But because again, I'm not what if you buy a Bravia TV? Do you need to be on PS Plus to have this?
I would think. I don't. You know what? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just want to clear that up. You know.
But then again, it brings into question, what about the PS4 games? Like, what if Uncharted... Okay, let's say that a hypothetical, 5-10 years down the line, Uncharted 4 comes to PS Now.
Yeah.
You have to have a PS Plus subscription to play that game online.
That's a good... Yeah, will there even be online? Will the online be supported in 10 years?
Assuming that it is still there, would you have to play, online for that? So... It's just a very odd situation.
Yeah.
Well, how would that even work? I mean, PS Now is streaming the game. You're not going to have enough bandwidth to play the game online anyway. With the lag that you're getting over streaming to begin with?
Again, it's 5-10 years in the future when hopefully infrastructure has improved.
When we're not using telegraph wires over here in America to do internet,
No, it's like when America has updated from smoke signals. That's when things get better. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Okay, I think that they will eventually, but definitely not while the PS4 is in its prime. So maybe when PS5 is due, or 2 years into PS5's release, that type of situation. But now, again, as everyone has said, it's a dumb idea. But then again, this is Sony, so I don't know anymore.
Okay.
It seems like logic with them is or logic with any company these days is just doesn't work.
Yeah. All right. I'm already bored by this question. All right. Moving on. I'm sorry. I don't care about PS Now. All right. Here we go. We complain about the cost of renting games on PS Now, but we don't hear much about the cost of streaming movies. For example, Jurassic World costs $6 to rent in HD over streaming services such as PSN and Amazon, and it is a 2-hour length movie. However, it costs $1 to rent at Redbox. When will we see a change in the movie industry regarding this? This is a really good question. I like this one.
You won't.
No, this question bores me.
I love Brett. Oh.
I heard
that. Yeah, you're not going to, because one is dictated by the companies who made the movie and want to sell the movie to you so they can set whatever arbitrary asshat price they want, and one of them is based in the real world with real money and real consumers, and it's a third-party company basically shilling these things around for what is a reasonable and actual sellable price. So again, you, as you do with a lot of things, you have people existing in a fantasy world where they want to arbitrarily charge you as much as they think that they want to, and then you have the rest of the world with real money and real people and how that really works. And that's pretty much why these streaming services aren't going anywhere, and Redbox is a multi-million-dollar industry.
Damn, I don't know how to follow that up. That was perfect. You're right, man. Come on, again, $6. Really? For a digital fucking movie that you're renting?
Yeah,
man.
the streaming situation is getting worse. I got pissed off. Okay, so the other day I was reading an article. They're going to make a new Star Trek TV series, right? They're only airing the pilot on television, and then the rest of the show is going to air every week on CBS's own streaming service, right?
Bullshit.
I'm like, I don't want to pay for another streaming service. I either want to watch the shit on TV or make a deal with Netflix or Hulu or something that everybody else has. But instead, these guys get greedy. Like Brett says, they don't live in reality, and they're like, we'll just make our own streaming service for everybody.
Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to pay Warner Brothers $6 a month and Disney $6 a month and fucking MGM $6 a month. It's like, guys, get your shit together and make a deal with Redbox or somebody to do this thing right. You know,
fuck, man. This goes back to the shit we talked about with EA Access. I'm like, what if every company starts doing this? We're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, but the movie companies are doing that.
They are doing it. So there you go. Do you guys seriously want that shit for the gaming industry too? Come on, man. It's fucked up. All right. The next question, which is related to this one, regarding the above question, do you believe if movie rental streaming was more reasonably priced, there would be less piracy in the movie industry? Downloading movies is easier most of the time illegally than it is to use a service, and they gouge you on the price. Hypothetically, if I pirated movies, a reasonable rental price would get me to stop.
Well, yeah, it's accessibility and price. Like Brett said, you know, if you live in the real world and realize people need to spend money and think about, I'm going to eat or do I want to watch Jurassic World? Well, I like dinosaurs. Brian said dinosaurs are awesome, and I'm not that hungry. So, you know, nobody weighs things out like that. And it's like, well, I could eat and I could just bootleg the movie. It's a no-brainer, guys. These guys, stop looking at your PowerPoints and fucking think for a minute that people have, you know, people need to work and eat and live, and you need reasonable access to stuff. This is why Steam does so well. This is why online gaming is doing well, because it's accessible and the prices are reasonable. A lot of times the Steam sales are ridiculous on games, you know. With the streaming services, I'm not paying for every studio to have their own streaming service. I'm not doling out $10 a month to Warner Brothers and Disney and CBS and whoever else wants to make a streaming service. You guys need to aggregate that into one thing. Make a deal with Netflix or Amazon or somebody to carry all your stuff so it's all in one place, and make it reasonably priced and accessible from one place, so we're just paying one subscription fee that's reasonable. It's unreasonable now to expect people to download every one of your streaming services and have to boot up every one of them to watch one thing. That's not reasonable. They'll just go on a torrent and get the fucking thing.
I love their different ideals when doing it though, because like Warner Brothers or Sony or whatnot, it goes like, how bad do you want to see dinosaurs? $8 worth, and Redbox is like, hey, you just spent $1.50 on Doritos. Yeah, for another $1 you can watch dinosaurs while you eat those Doritos. Like that second one, you're like, fucking sold, done. I don't mind the second approach. The first one pisses me off a little bit. Like, you know what? No. If you're gonna be that way, then I may or may not go home and just download your movie.
Dude, that is a movie ticket price. Like seriously.
That's their point. That's what they're basing it on. It's the same reason, and I hate to bring this off into a side tangent. It's the same reason comicology isn't taking off bigger. Like, you actually have public interest in comic books for like really intensely for the first time in what, fucking decade, maybe 2 decades. Like, it is some real serious shit going on right now, and you can't figure out. I can't figure out why you need to sell digital comics at the exact same price you sell the physical copies.
To be fair, that's not Comixology's fault. That's fucking Diamond Distributors and all that other shit.
Yeah, there's a lot involved in that. That's also the same reason why on the PlayStation Store and Xbox Store that they sell games for full price on day one,
because they can't hurt retail. That's the problem.
Because they don't want, they want to have their cake and eat it. They don't want to hurt their retails.
Listen, you think the guys at Comixology don't want to sell that shit cheap? That's why they have sales all the time, man. You know, just saying, don't shoot the messenger in this case. You know.
I'm not poo-pooing any of these people. I'm just saying.
Brett, I see your point. I know what you're getting at, but just to clear it up, it's not Comixology's fault.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry if I may have come across that way. I'm more speaking of the system itself is broken, and it's basically, and I hate to say this, and I can't believe I'm saying this about my local comic shop, but there comes a point in which progress needs to happen, and then there are people holding it back. It's the same reason like we don't have fucking electric cars yet. Like, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of really good people in the petroleum industry who are going to lose their job if we move to electric cars. But you know what? There's a lot of other people who are going to get brand new jobs in a brand new industry. And if we need to cut back and piss off some retailers so that we could improve the money flow through the entire industry, like, maybe it's a time we actually sit back and think about fucking doing that shit. Instead of, because what are we really worried about at the end of the day? That Walmart gets their piece? I don't give a fuck about Walmart. Do you give a fuck about Walmart? Walmart doesn't give a fuck about me. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Everybody buys digital and Sony doesn't have to shill out a cut to Walmart or Kmart or fucking Target or whatever the fuck anymore. Like, and I'm not saying that we should just do that and piss everybody off and fuck up the game's economy, but I mean, we should be moving towards that point, right?
Yeah,
or are we all just complacent to spend, digital manufacturing and distribution costs for something that's digitally distributed? Like,
yeah, that's bullshit. I agree with you, man. It's like, why? Why? It shouldn't cost that much.
And I think because with the movie studios, they haven't unified under one service or banner, right? Like with the consoles, right? Everybody who's on the consoles has to go through Sony Store or Microsoft Store, so they have to abide by their rules and then go by their pricing. But everything's available in one place. Same thing with Steam, right? Unless you want to go it alone, unless you want to be Uplay or you have EA's money, you can't do that, right? You're gonna deal with Steam. The movie studios, they're just like doing whatever the fuck. It's like, how greedy do I feel today? CBS sets one price, Warner Brothers sets another price. They just do whatever they want. And Netflix is trying to pull everybody together, and they're like, well, we don't want to pay you because we want the money. And it's like, fine, go do your own thing. And that's the problem now. It's like everybody's trying to create a streaming service, and it's not going to work at the end of the day. Nobody's just going to subscribe to 8 different streaming services, and they have to unify it under one thing. That's the big difference between digital games right now and digital movies and TV. They're not all under one banner. They're all under their own banners. They're just doing whatever they want. And you notice how shows will jump off Netflix and end up on Hulu, and then they jump off Hulu and they end up on CBS All Access or Warner Brothers or whatever else they decide to make. I think Disney's doing one too. They're all just trying to do their own thing because they just don't want to pay for one service. They just want all the money to come to them, and they want you to subscribe to their stuff.
Yeah, but they don't
realize. At the end of the day, it only hurts us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They don't realize that no one's going to be paying for 50 million services. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I guess it would stem the tide a little bit. If rentals weren't that fucking crazy. But yeah, man, it's fucked up. They should just go on Netflix and stop fucking around. Seriously, it's crazy.
My answer is pretty simple. Just copy Steam. Like, Steam works for a reason. Look at it.
You mean like movie sales, right, Brian? Oh, that's a good idea, man. Like, hey, buy a bunch of Warner Brothers movies, or rent a bunch of Warner Brothers movies for $15 for this week, or some shit like that,
Like, I don't understand. Like, again, the Steam method works, and it works well. Just copy it. Like, there are very little people that I know that complain about Steam. I know that Cruel copies or just hates Steam for some odd reason. I don't know why. But
he's crazy. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but still, just try and emulate that system, or like try and adapt that philosophy into whatever you're doing.
Well, they could.
Sure do well.
They just don't want to because they're all greedy.
That's the only problem.
Like Steam for TV would have happened already if they all weren't bickering about how much money they want to make off of us.
I think that's been the problem with the Steam box, hasn't it? Steam pretty much opened it up to PC manufacturers, and they couldn't get their shit together and decide how much to price it at.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I've seen them for $300, and then I've seen some for like $1,200, and it's like, for $1,200 you could build yourself an awesome gaming PC. Why the hell would I buy your Steam box?
Because it's small, Chris.
So, fuck that. You're brave.
Because it's small, and you think that you're an idiot.
Yeah, well, there's the second part more than the first one. Oh, it's so small; it'll fit on your in your living room, right next to your consoles. It's like, so. Oh, you're not stupid? No, I'm not an idiot. I know how much PC parts cost, and I would take a little bit of effort to build my own custom rig for that much money.
Did you guys build a shrink ray for the components on this? You know you can just use smaller components, right?
No, it's just they're all over the place. That's another thing that's got to change. I think that's going to win out in the end. Somebody's going to win out in the end. They can't be all over the place with these builds and these prices for Steam machines. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. Well, going back to the rentals, yeah, the movie studios are greedy, and they suck.
Yes. All right. Last question here. Oh, by the way, Garrido, just to clarify, I wasn't bored by your question. I was bored by the subject matter. I don't care about PS Now. I just want to clarify that. We appreciate the question. Serious, PS Now is stupid. All right. Last question here. Tony, how mad will you be if they announce an Xbox One Slim at E3? I'll be annoyed. Like, you motherfuckers. It's not even because of the price either. It'd be like, because the Xbox is fucking huge. It's taking a lot of space there. So, yeah, I'd be like, come on, guys. Really going to just shrink this shit? But it's all good. Okay, this is the thing I wanted to mention before. It's just funny. Because whenever I criticize anything regarding Microsoft, people got on my ass, right? Oh, what? You can't say that. How are you, Sony pony? As soon as I got that Xbox, I criticized the shit out of it. Everything I found out was off, I tweeted it. You know what I heard, Manny? Nobody said shit.
Dude, it's the holiday, and once those guys see that shit, you're gonna get it.
No,
Don't think for a second. You are safe.
No. I'm gonna explain to you.
Because if Chris gets it. Because if Chris gets it, but you're going to get it.
No, I'm going to explain to you why they haven't said anything. I'm going to explain to you because I have this shit. I now have a shield around me. They explained it because I tweet, I'm like, why aren't you guys mad at me? And then he's like, because you have an Xbox now. You could say shit if you want. I'm like, really? That's all it took? Damn.
Yeah, well, how come I don't get that courtesy. I don't ever get it. I insulted Kinect. I didn't like it, and everybody's like, "Well, you don't understand it." I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm not an idiot. I have a degree in computer science. I was perfectly well understand it."
Yeah, and you have a Kinect, but yeah, but that's the other part. Remember, why am I shielded, but Chris isn't? I'm usually the guy who gets shitted on the most on the show.
Oh, just give it time, Tony. Just give it time.
Yeah.
You're not safe. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get it.
Here's the response I got, which I thought was hilarious. Paris Lilly from Gamer Tag Radio goes, "I love hearing Romuleth bitching about shit we've been bitching about for the last 2 years." I'm saying, like, listen, the UI is fucking terrible. It is shit. It is horrible. And I'm playing on the new UI, the new Xbox experience. I'm like, I can't find anything. This is a fucking mess. I was tweeting about that. Nobody said anything because the UI is fucking shit. Let's just be honest about it. You can't, because it's based off Windows 10. Maybe that's why they're not mad at me, because I'm really talking shit about the Windows 10, which is crap, you know. But the UI is fucking terrible.
Yo, man, you can't say nothing about Windows 10 because you don't own a Windows 10 machine.
Yeah, fuck you.
I'm just talking about Shaft.
But I just found that interesting. I'm like, where's the hate? Like, from the usual guys, too. They can't be like, yeah, Tony, just give it time. Just give it time, you know. And I also find it funny how I started getting a bunch of new followers just because I bought an Xbox. Very interesting.
They're allowed to. And their strict ethical code allows them.
Yo, he got an Xbox. We can follow him now, man. So, yeah, the machine is cool so far. I'm going to give you more detailed impressions on Throwdown because I want to play it for a week and stuff. I've been playing with this thing here, the Xbox controller. Pros, it's heavy. It is really heavy, and I like that. Other pros, every button here has a purpose. PlayStation swipe bullshit.
Yo, man, what are you talking about?
Brian, that was for you because I don't like the touch bullshit either on PlayStation 4.
I said it was dumb when I seen it. It's still dumb now, and it'll be forever dumb because they didn't think about it properly.
Yeah, criticism. What the fuck is up with that? Why are there batteries in my controller? Like Duracell.
Yo, man, you didn't get the charger kit?
No, because I got the regular one. Like, if there's a charger kit, I will buy that because I don't want it. Like, I'm afraid I'm gonna be playing and it's gonna die on me.
Dude, yeah, get the play and charge kit. I'll compliment the Xbox One battery, the play and charge battery. That thing lasts forever.
Good.
And you can switch it out on like a certain other console.
Yeah, you can switch it. Yeah, you get a small charger. I have a dock just like the 360, and yeah, you could just swap the batteries out.
I know. I feel like talking about Xbox right now. Fuck that. All right. So installing takes. By the way, for years, everybody's been telling me how installing games, downloading games is so much faster on Xbox Live. Installing takes fucking forever. Like,
No,
it is.
I didn't say that.
Ridiculous.
Dude, I'm right there
No,
with you, man.
You didn't. Other people have been telling me that. Like, Nash is like, what are you, crazy? I'm like, no, I'm not crazy. Like, if I pop a disc into PlayStation 4, I could play it within 10 minutes. On Xbox, I had to wait almost an hour. This shit was just installing forever. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Now, downloads, they're the same as PS4. Like, they're fucking fast, but I think that just has to do with my internet connection than anything, you know? It's just about as fast. It'd be a little bit slower, but nothing comparable. Installing, oh, holy shit, dude. Holy fuck. It takes so long. Chris, I know you know about that, man.
Yeah, I think the worst I had is updating Killer Instinct. It takes fucking forever. I could go out and like get my car worked on and come back and that shit still isn't done. It takes forever. Yeah, I haven't actually timed the last one, but it was like I walked away and did something else. I might have just done this podcast and came back and that shit still wasn't done.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. So the D-pad here's the thing, the D-pad is good. I just don't like the placement of it. It's like all the way at the bottom here and shit, you know, because even though the controller's nice and heavy, I don't like the non-symmetricalness of it all. I know some people prefer it, whatever the fuck it's called. I forget the real name of it, but yeah, it's not symmetrical.
I think the biggest problem with it is it pushes you toward. It actually does, but pushes you more toward the analog stick on the top.
I think that's what it's meant for. Dude, that's a fucking toy. It's just
we lost you there.
Oh, okay. No wonder you guys didn't react then. I said I'm happy to have all the main consoles. No, the Wii U doesn't count. That's a toy. That's not a video game console. You know.
Remember, Tony, you saw on Twitter, I was actually defending Xbox. That Wii U fanboy came at me.
Hey, respect. That was our boy Tim. We had him on the show before. You know.
Well, why is he like telling me this insanity?
Yeah. Well, Tim is very.
No, not Tim. That other guy, who was telling me, whatever is Mikey something. It was like saying.
Why was Mike Madden protecting Nintendo? He doesn't give a shit about Nintendo. I didn't get that.
No, I don't think it was
going through some changes. You know, like he posted up saying something about he saved $35 thanks to PC gaming. I'm like, what? What I come with? It came with it came with no, I'm done with the controller now. So this thing came with Ori and the Blind Forest, Rare Replay, and Gears of War HD. And I also bought Tomb Raider. This is the game I've been playing. This game's fucking nice, man. Tomb Raider's the shit. And I also bought digitally Crimson Dragon and Sunset Overdrive, so I'll get to those. But Tomb Raider was the game that got me to stop playing Fallout for as much. I'm still playing Fallout, but not as much. And the two games are different enough where there's not too much overlap. But I'm noticing with Tomb Raider, there's some open world shit leaking in. I'm like I have to do side quests for people now. Really? Like, can I just play the game?
Didn't the other game have that too, though?
Not as much as this.
It was an open world game. They're just adding a little bit more to the world.
It didn't feel open world. It felt more like just like
big areas,
large playground. Than open world. It felt like you did like retread like a lot of places, but it didn't feel open world. You know, it didn't feel like I can go anywhere at any time and do whatever.
And I hate to admit this, but hey, if I'm wrong about something, I will admit it. And Brian, you're gonna get a big smirk out of this one. I kind of noticed the fact that Tomb Raider is 900p. There's certain things I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, you know when you watch you know what it is? You know when you watch a DVD on a Blu-ray player, you know, has that certain. I don't know what it's called, but it feels like it has like a gray like filter around it, right? Kind of getting that vibe off of Tomb Raider. Not as heavy as that, but a little bit. You know, I don't know how to explain. I'm not a tech savvy like that.
I mean, in general, I think the most that you would notice is just the jaggies off of it. When a game is usually at a little bit of a lower resolution, you can look if you look at like stuff like fences and stuff, and you notice that the little lines don't connect, or let's say if there's wires hanging from the sky and stuff like that. Those are the telltale signs that kind of show up.
Yeah.
That's one to do with the anti-aliasing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know with Tomb Raider since I don't give a shit since it's not out yet on PC. So.
Yet, exactly. Yeah, I'll give you guys my full, thoughts on it. But yeah, thumbs up. I'm gonna be getting some shit next year. Go ahead,
Tony,
Brian.
that just reminds me of, when you did the review for, I think, Shadow of Mordor, you complained about the cutscenes being all green and stuff like that. That's because they were rendered at 720p.
Ooh, okay, that's why.
So, of course, when you get them on your 1080p, like all shininess, it doesn't look as good.
Yeah. See, last gen I had a 720p television on purpose. I'm like, every game is 720p, whatever. But now when I see those games on my 1080p television, I'm like, hold on. Like, ultimately it doesn't matter, but I notice it. It's just interesting. What else about the Xbox? Yeah, Xbox. There you go. I'm part of that world now. It's very interesting.
Part of your world.
All right. Next question by Chris's favorite person, Mike Madden. Do you think the console war has an impact on why backwards compatibility is brought up on this site's podcast and comment section? I don't see the big deal with it. I still own my last gen consoles, but don't even have time to play all current gen games. Okay, how do we want to tackle this question? I mean, backwards compatibility is obviously a big selling point to some people. So if you're going to talk about console wars, if you want to talk about how big your dick is compared to the other guy, you're going to be like, hey, I can just pop in games in my system. What about yours? You have to pay for your shits, don't you?
Is it a big selling point, though, or is it a big arguing point?
Brett, that's a great question. Because here's the thing. It's a selling point when a console first launches. 2 years out, let's just be honest now, backwards compatibility is not that important because you already have a slew of new games to play. So it's really more of an argument point at this juncture. It's not really a selling point anymore. I know to some guys it's a selling point, but 2 years, backwards compatibility was a big deal when they announced it, right? But like I said, it came a little too late. They would have had more impact at the beginning of the generation when people didn't have any games to play. Now 2 years in, like basically by the time next year ends, 2016 ends, no one's going to give a shit about backwards compatibility anymore. It's not going to be important because you have a whole library of shit to play. So yes, I think it's more just for people to argue about, fan the flames of the console war, if you will.
I agree. I think everybody who was yelling about backwards compatibility was always like, see, we got backwards compatibility. Well, if you're saying we got it, that means you had the console already, and that means you've had it for a while, so you have all the new games. So why is it important? Now, honestly, when I had my PS3, I had one of the first-gen PS3s, right, and it had PS2 compatibility built in, and then Sony decided to remove it. You know how many PS2 games I played on my PS3? 0. Not one, because I had a PlayStation 2, and if I wanted to, I could fire it up if I wanted to play the games. But no, I was already playing PS3 games. I was already in the current gen, and I didn't really care. And that PS3 burnt out. It yellow lighted years ago, and I have a super slim PS3. And you know what? I don't miss the backwards compatibility. I didn't miss it at all. I was already well into that generation, and I had a ton of PS3 games.
Wait, when did your PS3 burn out?
It burnt out a couple years back when I was in Bayside, dude. I had to reflow that thing myself just to get the data to back up.
You did buy the new one then.
Yeah, I bought the Super Slim.
So that makes us all of us who've had PlayStation 3s that have died.
Man, you remember I had to do that shit to my console and yours.
Not me. I had a launch PS4 or a PS3 that still exists today.
Wow, that's amazing.
I still have my slim PS3 that I bought when MAG came out, still kicking strong. No problem at all.
The newer slim ones don't die as quickly as the fat ones.
Yeah, the fat ones were the ones that died all the time.
Because of that lousy paste that they use inside of it. And by the way, I hear that the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 also have that same issue. They use lousy paste inside of it.
Yeah, they're not using good thermal grease. They're using just like a pad or something. That's the problem with mass manufacturing those things.
Yeah, it might be a good idea for me to open this shit up. Just to, put some good shit in there,
Yeah, some people especially people who play it a lot, might want to open up the damn thing and see what's going on inside, because your paste may have dried up or the pad or whatever they're using.
Probably
Silver, and you won't have to worry anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's the good shit.
Then the problem is that if you open up your console, it voids the warranty.
Yeah, but I've had it for 2 years. That's the warranties have already been voided. Like, was it?
Yeah,
30?
what do they got? 90 days, maybe.
Yeah, 90 days exactly.
Oh wow, that's shit.
Yeah,
That's
it's
typical.
Here.
Yeah, we don't even get a year, Brian. We get 3 months.
Yeah, that's all. That's standard. 90 days.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
That shit's
I think
been-
that mine, like my PS3 was like 3 years warranty. I don't know why. I was like 3 years. Fucking hell! I better break it. Like
That's
you
why.
do.
That's why you can buy your. That's why you can buy an upgrade to your warranty on the PlayStation Store.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Move on here. Ligament asking questions this week.
No,
First
wait.
one. Oh, go ahead,
Can I just stop real quickly? Because I just remembered my PS3 Blu-ray drive broke. I forgot about that. My mistake. Yeah.
Oh man, PlayStations were fucked up too, man. All right.
Yeah, it's just the thing about PlayStation is it eventually happened. It's not like Xbox where essentially you bought a 360 and you literally had a catch-22 as to if your console will actually run if you pulled it out of the goddamn box.
Yes. All right, Ligament. What do you think about Sony saying they will bring PS2 games to PS4 as an answer to Xbox One, bringing 360 games to Xbox One, and the possibility of OG games to the Xbox One? We don't need to answer the first part of the question. We already answered it last week. We think it's cool that they're going to do it, but we have to see how they're going to do it. We don't exactly know.
I think it's just going to be the ability to play what they already have on the store.
Yeah.
Rather than just go through the rigmarole of redeveloping, on this thing on there. I think it's whatever they have on the store, and it's going to run whatever is in the store.
So essentially, you have to buy games you already own.
Yes. Exactly. And the thing is that they're not going to do. They're not. I know Sony's not going to do any sort of retroactive bullshit. It's like, hey, you stick in your copy of the bouncer, and you get the bouncer.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, that would make sense, though, right? Like, how are they competing with Xbox One's backward compatibility by saying you have to buy games you own? That's the whole point of the Xbox version that you don't.
Yeah.
So they would have to make it. Yeah, well, to make it worthwhile, you'd have to make it so that if you put in a PlayStation 2 disc in your PS4, it works. That's the only way I see that working. I think any other way they do it is not worth it.
Yeah, but what about the second part of the question? What do you think is the possibility of Xbox games coming to Xbox One?
What you mean original Xbox?
Yeah, original Xbox. Xbox One games coming to Xbox One.
I'd say that's more. I'd say that they would have a much easier time doing that than 360 because the original Xbox was also PC based. It was an x86 chip in there. It was like an old Pentium 3 Coppermine running in the original Xbox, and this is x86 also. I'd say that it should work. It should be pretty easy to implement that.
Yeah, that's why I defer to you because you would know that stuff. All right, but again, we already talked about PlayStation 2 last week and stuff. And Ligament, again, it's not a possibility. Sony officially said emulation is coming. So, there you go. Second question, what do you guys think about the Xbox One Elite controller and the Elite console bundle with the 1 terabyte SSD constantly selling out even with the big price tag? You guys think it's a smart move for Xbox to bring out this high-end hardware? Yeah, it's a smart move because it's making them fucking money.
To be honest, I wish there was a controller from PlayStation 4 that will, or you could mod and change around,
Yeah. Right. Go ahead.
I just stop it there real quick because I seen the question beforehand. And I was like, hold on, a 1 terabyte SSD in an Xbox One. That sounds highly unlikely because SSDs are fucking expensive. So I can't even get like 1 terabyte one for like a decent price. So I did some research, and it's not actually a full-on SSD. It's actually a hybrid SSD, which is actually what I have in my PC now. So it's essentially it's a compromise between the traditional ones and an SSD. So you get speeds comparable to an SSD, which is great, but still with the capacity and cost of like a traditional drive.
Yeah, they were saying, like, I remember back in the day they did a bunch of different tests on both consoles with the well, at least PlayStation 3 with the SSD and then the SSD hybrid one, and they say that the hybrid one, the way that one works is that the more you play a certain game, it'll store that portion of that portion of the game
Yeah.
in the SS, the solid state part of it. But if for other games, they'll run like a little bit slower, like they usually would when accessing it from a normal hard drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So it's not quite full on SSD, but it's still like really good. And I'd
Bring me the facts
recommend,
on Throwdown.
yeah, I'd recommend like if you are thinking of upgrading your like PS4 drive, then I'd highly recommend you go for like a hybrid drive because they are just far better than just normal drives, like by far.
Yeah.
And if you can, go full on SSD, but capacity wise for the price right now, it's not worth it because
Yeah.
they're expensive.
Well,
But they're
how much
really
is
good.
one
They're expensive.
terabyte SSD? Isn't it like $800, $900 still? It's like really
Jeez.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's way more than the console, so it's not worth it.
That's why I was shocked when he said SSD. Cause I'm like, there's no way that Microsoft can put a 1 terabyte SSD in an Xbox One for $500. That's or either they're taking a massive loss, which is of course not the case. So yeah, either way,
All right.
it's still good
Yeah.
because I have one in my PC and it's really good value. Well, it's good value for the performance. Like, as I said, you get SSD-like speeds at a fraction of the cost.
All right, a quick check right now. A 1 terabyte SSD on Newegg, like a Samsung, is $350 roughly.
Yeah.
So it's still a lot. It's more than the Xbox is for the drive.
All right.
It's selling
Yeah.
out. That's good, I guess. I don't know. If it's selling out, then that means that there's a demand for high capacity drives, which is what I was said when I first heard that Killzone was 50 gigs. I was like, oh boy, this is not going to end well for anything. And then 2 years later, we get this.
Yeah, no, there's there's obviously a demand for that stuff. Hell, I want to get that fucking controller too eventually. That thing was nice, man. I played that shit at E3. I'm like, this is sweet.
But then the
Yeah.
problem with the Elite controller is just the price point. It's like, what,
Yeah,
like
the price,
150?
150 exactly. That's the only problem, but it is a
That's
nice controller.
ridiculous.
It's
And it comes
ridiculous,
with all the different attachments for it. You don't need to separately buy
but
any.
it's ridiculous, but it makes sense why it costs that much.
Even then, it's like 150 for a controller. Like I thought
I
that
know.
like official ones were expensive by default, but this is over expensive.
I can understand it if you like have a bunch of regular controllers and then your Elite controller. Like it makes sense. Like I could be persuaded to buy something like if I'm at the computer all day either working or playing or what have you. That's the main thing that you're interacting with. You use that controller probably more than any other single object in your house. It's smart to invest in that kind of thing. So I can see it going for that price. You can see some really expensive, the same way for PC. Keyboards and mice can go for hundreds of bucks.
And it's justified because you use them all the time,
Yeah, it better be a damn solid piece of equipment for that price.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
To be able to kill somebody with it. All right, moving on here. Did any of you guys play the new Rainbow Six beta, and what do you think about? As I know, most of you like co-op online games, and just in case you haven't checked it out, there is an open beta that starts today. I guess I don't know whenever he posted that. Did anybody else play the beta? Because I played the beta. I have some thoughts on it. Yeah, I played it and it was stupid. It was boring as shit. It was boring. It's like all you do is like you either defend like your base or try to attack a base. That's it. That's the entire game. Boring. But then again, I've never liked Rainbow Six, so whatever. I was talking to Richard Bailey. I think he's gonna write something about it. He didn't like it either, and I think he is a fan of Rainbow Six, but he was bored too. I think he called it Rainbow Six Bore or some shit like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, give the example you gave the other day about how people, what people think about this game.
All I know is on several throwdowns, I was giving away codes for this beta, and nobody took them. I couldn't get one taker. I was giving away codes for the beta, and nobody wanted them. Like that's just how much interest there is in this game. And I played it. They had Ubisoft had this big thing at Rooster Teeth Expo down here, and I played the open beta. Let me tell you, there's something to be said playing like a huge multiplayer game with strangers, right? Because everybody just runs around like chickens with their head cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody decides to do all anything. Nobody squads up or does anything. So it was a terrible experience. I'd be like Tony said, it's like you're either infiltrating or defending. And then you'll just have morons just go off and do whatever they want, and it just was boring. It was just doing the same thing. It's like, okay, they're like trying to make it exciting. Okay, you're going to defend now. It's like, okay, so I just have to do the opposite of what I was doing before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really boring. I didn't enjoy it. And
this smells of Evolve to me. Like, how long is this shit going to last? Although I suspect this is going to last even less time than Evolve, because this like really has nothing going for it. You know,
Evolve at least had an interesting theme with the monster and stuff. Like this is just, I don't know, just infiltration and stuff. I don't know.
Trying to live off its pedigree.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, we're not interested in that game.
Yeah. Never played it. Didn't give a damn. I heard the beta's out now. I'm like, cool story. I watched
gameplay. I'll tell everyone. Like I just heard they said Just Cause 3 has a 400 square mile map. Jeez. Go save your money and get that, and run around in that world.
And probably cheaper as well. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Oh man, too many open world games.
Hey, shut your mouth.
Oh man, Brett, if you play as many open world games as I did this year, you might feel a little different. Holy shit.
Dude, I love open world games. I hate being put on a path and told what to do. Like, the first thing I do in any open world game is be like, okay, where am I supposed to go? Turn around 180 degrees, I'm going that way, fuck y'all.
How many of the open world games have you finished?
Ooh.
It depends what you mean finished. I'll generally
completed every mission and everything.
So, every mission on the first playthrough, generally not. I'll generally do is I'll start to play the game. I'll diverge from the main quest, and then I'll just play until I start to feel the burnout creeping up, and then I'll bust through the main mission, set it aside, and then I'll actually come back. Like, that's what I'm doing with Fallout right now. Is I'm just getting to the point where I was like, I should probably start to do the mission, because I should probably, do adult responsibility things, not play as many video games. So I'm going to finish up my game. I'm going to put it aside. I haven't done any of the railroad stuff. There's a lot of side missions that I've avoided. Like, I'm going to go back and do that the second time I play it through. So it's really a toss-up whether you could call the first time I complete the game finishing it.
Yeah, Brett's definition of finishing is different than our definition of finishing. Because sometimes Brett will be like, I'm done with the game. Did you finish the story? Nope, I'm done.
Yep.
Yep. So
I got the gist of it, then I got bored. And sometimes, I'll choose, I'll be playing Fallout for months and months and months. So, it's kind of the same as Bloodborne. Like, have I finished Bloodborne? I'm not finished with Bloodborne, no.
Get that platinum?
No.
Did you at least defeat the moon presence?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't platinum games that much. I find by the time I finish the platinum, I'm like, this isn't fun anymore. This is now a fucking chore. I have other chores I could be doing.
No, I like platinum the Souls game. I just look at my arms. It's like, well, there's nowhere else I can cut, so I guess I'm finished.
Oh man! All right, moving on. Trees Go to War asks us, what do you guys think about Lost in Space reboot coming to Netflix? First of all, I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Sure. As long as it doesn't have Vince Vaughn in it. Or who was that in there in the remake?
It was Joey from Friends.
It was Joey from Friends, sorry.
Yeah. Listen, as long as it doesn't follow anything from that freaking movie. I mean, I like Gary Oldman, but goddamn, he was the creepiest Dr. Smith. The whole plot was dumb.
I'll be honest with you. I hope they at least make, okay, one thing I liked about the movie was it at least made it more serious, because that show was goofy. The fucking Dr. Smith.
I'm a creepy pedophile.
He's like this gay pedophile, running around with the kid and the robot. Like, no, we don't need that. But the premise is cool, being lost in space. So yeah, if they make it it's a Netflix show, so I'm gonna assume they're gonna make it more serious or something.
It's gonna be just like Jessica Jones.
Manny, by the way, Manny is the only man on Earth that hates this show. Everybody loves it.
I am not
but him.
alone. Mark doesn't like it either.
Okay, so there you go. Two guys.
I have feelings about this show. I've got about 3 episodes in.
I'm going to say this. Do you agree with this assessment? Jessica Jones is for people who do not like superhero shows.
It's for people who don't know that they like superhero shows.
Oh wow!
That's it. Wow.
What did I say about what's it called Baby and the Beard guys? Because like they love it.
They love it, yeah. By the way, Manny, I told that exact quote to Charles and Gary, and they were like, "What the fuck?" Because they think the show's fantastic.
Oh God, I have words.
Handed, isn't it?
Okay, I'm gonna say this: if you can get beat up by a bunch of random thugs with electrical pokers, what kind of fucking superhero are you? She gets beat up by every single fucking person in that show. Is that empowering to women? I don't fucking think so.
Well, well, if you look at it like from the period away, then apparently like getting beat up and falling over is empowering. And
Yeah,
that's what
apparently that's empowering. So so essentially Laura Croft constantly getting stabbed and falling off a building. That's empowering. Come on.
No, making an incredibly dislikable character is empowering.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's the other problem with her. She's a fucking
like the only thing I can think when I'm watching the show is like, you know, if she were a dude, I'd really just kind of hate her. Like I'd be like, this dude's a shitbag.
Yeah. She's a total asshole. And
yeah.
Whatever. Why do I need to watch an asshole doing things that I don't give a shit about? I can watch a bunch of other shows.
All right. But getting back to the topic, Lost in Space.
Oh my! Yeah.
Oh my! What was the name of the kid again?
William.
Come here,
young William.
Come here.
No.
Now all I can think about is the '60s version.
Yeah. Danger, Will Robinson.
You know, all I gotta say is Zorro was his dad.
That's right. It was Guy Williams.
Guy
right?
Williams.
The father.
Oh,
so you know what they should do to go with that? If Antonio Banderas isn't doing anything, maybe he's washed up enough. Maybe they'll put him on there too. That'd be awesome.
There is danger. The robot tells me there is danger. Oh my!
Oh my!
Who are we gonna get as Dr. Smith, man?
If you want to go with Joke Smith.
Oh man!
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. Honestly, I'll just reserve judgment because now we're just goofing on it. We're thinking of the fucking old show, so I don't know what to think.
Danger!
Hey, at least the original, at least that movie had one thing going for it, that the robot was played by the guy who originally played the robot.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh man! All right, let's move on here.
Okay, let's give the serious answer. I think it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see Lost in Space again. You know, maybe it could just be like, you know, I mean, it is essentially Swiss Family Robinson in space. So I mean, if it's just Family Robinson in space and kind of badass, man, I can deal with it.
Yeah, it could be actiony and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are old enough to have a personal nostalgic investment in
No, because Gilligan's Island came out around the same time, and I'm nostalgic for that show. I used to watch the shit out of Gilligan's Island. It's just that Lost in Space was a dumb show.
Well, okay, like you watched Gilligan's Island in reruns though, and Lost in Space wasn't rerun as much. It wasn't as popular. My only point is like, it's kind of rebooting something that's far enough away that you can make changes to it without upsetting a whole lot of core fan base.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they did with the movie. They're like, okay, totally different direction. But the thing is, the movie was bad. It wasn't because they changed, you know.
Well, yeah, just because they did a bad job with it, though, doesn't mean that like it's the idea of a reboot is flawed. It just means they fucking phoned it in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm interested in it, but I just want to see if they're going to make it a comedy or they're going to make it serious. That's what I want to know.
I feel like it would probably, I feel like they don't need to make it too heavy. I feel like if you do it about as heavy as Flash, you're good.
Oh man,
I work on Netflix because
that's good stuff.
Yeah, Flash is awesome. But don't Netflix again? I couldn't tell, but it seems to me that Netflix people like really dark shows, really heavy shows.
Well, here's the thing. I think that there's a little bit of that's something missing from Netflix. I mean, you have these kind of hyper-violent type of shows, like Hemlock Grove and Daredevil, and even maybe Jessica Jones is not that super violent, but you have those kind of more adult shows, but there isn't that kind of mid one where people, along the lines of a Star Trek, I would say, where
why isn't the new Star Trek on Netflix? What the fuck? I'm pissed off.
Does anybody even know what it's about? What is it, a Worf show?
Who knows?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I'm actually, you know what? It's okay. I'll be watching it my way, if you know what I'm talking about. Wink, wink. All right, let's move on here.
Underwear.
We slightly talked about this on one of the shows before, probably the last episode. Which trailer was better? This is a flat-out question. This is all for. Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry. Fern Gully. I skipped your first question. Fern Gully. Okay, why was quote unquote the Muhammad Ali of racing Forza 6 bundled in with Gears of War collection? Good question. Why are you bundling a top tier game with a remaster? I know what he's at.
Because nobody bought it.
Because nobody bought Forza.
Yeah. For the holiday season. So it can't make sense like bundle your games together. So it's like, hey, get more promotion, get more people interested in it.
Why aren't they bundling Halo 5 with anything? Why aren't they bundling Halo 5 with anything?
Halo 5 is Halo. Like, everyone knows Halo. Like, maybe there are people that know Gears of War but don't know Forza.
But, Brian, if this is the Muhammad Ali of racing games, why doesn't it stand on its own?
Well, isn't Gears of War the Muhammad Ali of arena shooters?
Exactly. Why are they standing alone?
Here.
Brian's like, no, it's Unreal Tournament. Shut up.
I gotta say this though about the two. Notice the similarities between the two bundles. Literally,
bundles, baby.
Literally, both PlayStation and Microsoft were selling consoles with games from last generation as the bundle. Like Uncharted, it was the Uncharted collection, and then it's Gears of War.
But you're bundling a game from last gen with the game this gen.
No, I mean the PlayStation didn't have that.
But Xbox does, understand?
But still, I mean, you have this kind of old game. Why are we going back? Throw a new game in there.
Or newer games, Manny. Shh.
What? Are you telling me that nobody wants to play Rise, Son of Rome?
Yes.
I am telling you that, yes.
Manny,
you know what? You should totally
haven't played it yet.
Sony and Microsoft should have evened the playing field and put the order in one of the in the PlayStation 4 one, and then put Rise, Son of Rome in the other one.
Just had a crap off.
But that's like which one will sell less. It's like the opposite. It's like
that's a good question. Like, why didn't Sony have like a Bloodborne bundle? Especially since they have like the DLC coming out as well.
Well, I mean, they have a bundle for the DLC in the game. That's it, because Bloodborne could stand on its own. Apparently, Forza can't stand on its own, so I need to throw Gears of War in there, get people to buy the fucking game. That's what's going on.
Gears of War.
By the way, I'd love having an Xbox. I could talk all this shit now. You guys can't say nothing.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it bad.
I got this. Say something, bitches. Say something.
The more you say some shit, they're gonna come after you, man.
No, I'm telling you, man. I'm immune now.
The more you gloat in your newfound power, the more they're gonna come down.
Dude, think about this. Phil Spencer wasn't immune. He's the freaking head of Xbox.
That is a fact, yeah. Even Phil Spencer,
you
fucking Xbox. What is wrong with you? Phil Spencer's like saying this, and you guys are getting mad at him. Come on now. But that's my stance on it. They packed Gears of War with Forza because Forza ain't selling. Gears of War is selling. That shit charted, I bet. You know? Oh.
Chart?
Did it chart? I don't know. But anyway, my point still stands. I'm talking shit right now. I don't care. All right, next question. Which trailer was better, Civil War or Dawn of Justice? Is there now added pressure on Dawn of Justice because of the hype coming from Civil War? We kind of talked about this before. Yeah, like you saw that Civil War trailer. It's like, yo, Batman, what are you doing now, man? Looking a little silly now compared to Civil War. But then again, if you're a DC guy, you're probably like, man, that shit was bullshit, man. Batman was better. So my personal opinion is I like the Civil War one. That got me hyped as fuck. But Batman, I'm still like, I don't know about you, man. You got to prove yourself. I don't know. Because the images were cool, but it didn't get me as hyped as Civil War, man. I'm thinking about it now. I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, I think that's the thing with Civil War. We're all invested in the Marvel stuff. Like we've seen all these movies, we've been following it for years, right? And it's built up all this story that we can't wait to see the next part of it.
Dude, did you see the part with Bucky and Cap were fucking up Iron Man? Come on, man. It was crazy.
I know the action was great, and we talked about it on last Throwdown too. We talked about the trailer. And I don't agree with Michael A. that it was better than any Marvel movie that has come out to date.
Yeah.
I really disagree.
I don't know. I think Michael A. sometimes was smoking too much there because
I don't agree with that. But
he needed to bring that down a notch.
I will enjoy it. Whereas I don't have any trust in DC yet. They haven't proven that they can make something nearly as epic, and this will be the first time they're going to try. And so I can't go in blind faith like, oh, this looks amazing. It's like I don't know what to expect. It's like if you gave me 90 minutes of Batman punching Superman, that would please me to no end. But I don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah, but with Civil War, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know
it's gonna be fucking good.
Yeah.
Because like as Tony said, like we have invested in his characters. Like we've seen them like quote unquote grow up since like the first couple of films. Like we've seen how Captain America like transformed from like the skinny runt to where he is now. We've seen Iron Man transform from the war dealer to what he is now. So, like, we feel invested in his characters.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel has given us a reason to give a fuck about these characters. Whereas with DC, we don't really know much about most of the characters.
I know
we had the one Superman film, and then with the new Batman, we don't know anything apart from he's just upset.
Dude, even the new DC films, like, if they have a character with nostalgia, they're going to fuck him up to the point where he's no longer recognizable. Like, oh, you like Joker, huh? You're like, yeah, we like Joker. How about we make him look like a Guido and give him silver teeth? You're like, no, what? And then a whole bunch of tattoos. You're like, no, you're going the opposite direction of what I want. Like, and the fact that they can't seem to keep their canon nailed down, the fact that nothing seems to matter, like, they are working very hard to make it inconsequential to like their characters, because it's just going to be a different character. It's going to be a different fucking Batman. It's going to be a different fucking universe. There's going to be no correlation between the previous movies, so they're going to ruin your favorite childhood character.
Yeah. Meanwhile, see, Marvel, again, at least I'm talking about the movies, they've established that specific canon. We've seen the growth of that Iron Man, that Captain America, right? We haven't seen that for DC's movies yet. So the only thing like you said, Brett, we have to fall back on is the comic books, but they're deviating from that, so we have nothing to ground ourselves in. So that's the thing. What kind of ruins it. It's like, if you try to look at this objectively, which trailer was better? A little hard to do that because you have all those feelings involved with the movies that have come before it.
Yeah,
like that's a question.
If we just look at one specific movie before it, let's not add up all the Marvel movies, to this point, which have built up everything. Let's just take the movie before it. I would put Winter Soldier way above Man of Steel any day. Man of Steel was not that good. While it had great action, it was not good. I do not like that Superman. And
I like Man of Steel, but it's Winter Soldier. Let's get real here.
Yeah, So that alone makes me excited for Civil War. Right?
Think about it. This is a sequel to Winter Soldier, the probably the best Marvel movie, objectively speaking, out there. So there's a reason to get hyped. All right. Any other thoughts here? You don't care either way, do you?
Nope. Don't care. You want to know why? Because again, they just show you a bunch of pretty images. Great. I want to see the film.
Yeah, show me the movie.
To be honest, you could have some of those trailers are even better than the actual films that they're for. So I'll wait till the film comes out. I'm not hyped about either right now.
Right, that's good. Yeah.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah. Brett.
Like just
I'm totally excited for the DC Batman movie.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. Batman's hurt me too many times. Fuck you, Batman.
I can't tell that you're sarcastic. I can't tell that you're sarcastic because I can't see your face.
You know, Brett, that was a great poker voice, man. I couldn't tell. Brian, what were you gonna say, man?
Just to know Matt, Marvel was better. Deal with it.
Yeah, Matthew, man, from Baby and the Beard, he gets upset. He's like, guys, can't we just like agree that we live in a great age? Like, dude,
No.
come on, something's objectively better than the other here. Marvel is fucking killing it in movies. You can't like deny that, you know.
And all those Marvel haters, you know, like I'll be drinking your tears in an Age of Ultron cup. No, I'll be drinking your tears while I'm holding Nintendo gauntlets.
Okay, let me add. After binge watching the first season of Flash, damn, DC knows how to make really great Marvel movies on a weekly basis.
I know, right?
Yes, so true. Dude, the guy who plays Flash is fucking Peter Parker,
He's
man.
Peter Parker. Literally, I'm like, hey, it's Pete. How you doing, Pete? Oh, wait, you're the Flash.
Except he's not as much of a pussy as Peter Parker. That's
Yeah,
the only thing.
Watching this, I was like, why? Why can you not just do this in movie format, DC? It's like, it's so much less convenient. You only have to do it for 90 minutes. That's an episode and a half. You only need to hold it together for an episode and a half.
Oh, man. Yeah, I could talk about the Flash, man. Flash always, like, there's always a point of every episode where I just start yelling at the TV, like, yes, yes! Like, it's just great, man. Do that on movies, DC. What the fuck?
I have to say, I really appreciate the Flash not being a Christopher Nolan Batman type.
Yeah, you know what? This is what I like about the Flash. The Flash, like, hey, we're a comic book based show. Let's do that. They run with it, dude. They don't give a fuck. Hey, we got King Shark in this episode. Say something. I love that attitude, man. They don't give a shit.
I think the old bets were off when they threw a psychic gorilla in the show.
Yeah, it's like, all right, man, this is real shit right now, man.
Oh, I just got to that point. I was like, you've got to be fucking shitting me.
Yeah, the show is like, we don't give a fuck. We're gonna have a genetically engineered gorilla just cause.
Just cause. You know? That's awesome. I was telling Rachel, I was like, that guy's awesome. And she's like, what, the gorilla? And I was like, yes. He's like turns into a badass supervillain. She's like, really? I was like, yes.
See, if this was a typical show, what they would do is like Gorilla Grodd would be a man, right? And they would just say he's gorilla-ish in his behavior or some bullshit like that. No, this is Gorilla Grodd with the mental powers and everything. Like, yes, goddammit. Again, Brent, I know you haven't gotten to it, but fucking King Shark, it's a fucking giant man shark on the show. They don't give a shit. It's beautiful.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
They don't give a fuck.
And it's played by David Hayter, my ad.
David Hayter is King Shark?
Yes.
This big ass CG shark. I'm like, okay, this show does no fucks given, and I love it. You know. All right.
To be fair, Marvel did a talking raccoon, so they did it first.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, again, this goes back to what Manny was saying. DC does great Marvel on TV.
It even sounds like a Marvel show. Like it sounds like a Marvel movie, like
the
a Marvel
music,
movie.
Right?
It's the music's like it sounds like a Marvel thing.
Yeah, Flash is the shit. All right, the last question. This one's a little bit of a weird one. Maybe you guys can help me with this. Are we a quote-unquote what have you done for me lately industry now? Seems like every time there is a show with big announcements, the momentum shifts, i.e. Sony not being a Gamescom equals Xbox up, then Paris Games price drop equals Sony up, so on and so on. PS experience equals question mark. It's like being in a great windstorm that doesn't stop. I kind of don't understand this question. Does he mean like people are just not happy enough with what they see? They expect too much from like conferences? Is that what he's asking?
I think he's saying people are being fair weather fans, and like, oh, this week you go Microsoft, this week you go Sony. But I think we've all been pretty staunch in our opinions here. Sometimes critically so. Like, you guys have complained that we're too slow to change our minds sometimes. So, I wouldn't say that we're necessarily the ones saying that. And I think the people that are saying that are probably people wanting you to click on their stories or just wanting to start drama. I wouldn't. Basically, if somebody's opinion changes every week, it's probably not a really valid opinion to be listening to in the first place.
Agreed. Yeah, we don't change our fucking opinions here unless you you gotta give us some fucking facts or something to really get us to change our shit. You know, this makes me think about the whole thing that happened when I was at SFM Play. I was the big Sony guy. Then I went to DualShockers, and I was the Xbox guy. You know, I'd never owned an Xbox. I'm like, I'm saying the same shit. It just depends on the person hearing it. You know. But yeah, no. I mean, as far as our opinion goes, haven't changed. It's like, hey. But again, with the question, I'm trying to get to the heart of it, but I don't get it. The quote, "Are we a what have you done for me lately?" thing, like that's a John Kennedy quote. Like that meant does that mean we're not putting in enough work? Like I don't.
No. Are we saying that about the consoles? Like oh, we're a big Xbox fan, then I think it's probably in response to like PlayStation hasn't put out anything lately, and so you're seeing people kind of jump to the Microsoft side because they're moving and they're shaking right now. So he's asking, do we have very little brand loyalty as a consumer base?
I don't think that's the case. I think it's just that in with the shows and with all the news coming out that you'll just hear one fan base scream louder than another. I don't think anybody's jumping ship or moving around. I think
that's a good point.
The commentary coming from the news, like the whole. I saw my Twitter blown up after the NPDs. Halo, oh my God, Halo, Microsoft won Halo. I just think one group will shout louder than another when there's some kind of news or some kind of announcement. I honestly don't think people are just jumping around like, oh, Xbox is here. Okay, I'm on Xbox now. I'm over here. Oh wait, no, Sony Experience. I'm over here. I don't think there's a lot of people moving around. I think it's just one group shouting louder than another when there's some revelation or something. From one of these conferences or lack of conference.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody else have any thoughts on it?
Dun, 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 dun. What have you done for me lately? Dun, 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 dun.
Well, I don't understand the question as such.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm having sorry for I kind of don't dude. This isn't Twitter. You can expound. It really explain what you're trying to ask here. I don't get it. Danger. I have that thing stuck in my head. That stupid robot and the gay scientist.
Oh, Tony, would you like to buy an Xbox One or a Wii U?
Ooh. Oh, by the
would
way,
you like to give me your friend code?
By the way, since I only have 2 HDMI slots on my TV, I am retiring this.
Oh. We have to. I'm sorry. We need some violins. Where are those?
Violins. Do we have violins here? No, I just have this.
Sure.
Yeah, the PS3 is retired.
Yeah, PS3 is retired. I've been playing it for like almost 2 years now. So, oh well.
Really?
I have a couple of things that I need to go back for. I got Revengeance for free, so I'm gonna play that. I know.
It was an okay game, Tony. Stop it.
No, I'm not stopping nothing. It was a shitty game.
It was an okay game. It was not the Order bad, okay?
No, the Order was amazing compared to fucking...
No, stop.
No, you stop, because come on now. Revengeance was shit.
It wasn't... Come on, Tony. It was not that bad.
It was bad. It was bad. It was bad,
no,
Brian. It was bad.
It was not.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. There's nothing about it that was okay. The only thing I can say for it is the controls worked. When I pressed the button, stuff happened.
Did it crash?
No, it did not. But the Order didn't crash either.
Were the characters annoying?
Yes, the characters are very annoying. Raiden was the worst. He was fucking awful. Every character in that game was fucking annoying. The bosses and stuff, everything was shitty. The level design was boring. The combat was boring. It was just a bad game.
What do you mean the combat was boring? You can slice dudes up like... Tactically, that's brilliant.
Well, this is awkward.
All right, I'm back. The game, it was shit, Brian.
The game was all right. Don't listen to Tony.
No, don't listen to Brian. That game was horrible, boring, and stupid. And the thing is, I defended that game before it came out. I'm like, dude, it's Platinum Games. They're gonna knock it out of the park. And I liked Raiden. I was one of the few people that like Raiden. I hate Raiden because of that fucking game now. Stupid.
Don't listen to Tony.
Yeah, don't listen to Brian.
You don't like Jack the Ripper.
We're going to do this for another half an hour, so we're going to wrap this shit up. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to leave us your comments down there and all that, either on YouTube or on the Coalition. Subscribe to Throwdown, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our service is Tony Polanco. Today I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
Tony, are you sure you don't want to give me your friend code?
Brian Majoma.
Writing was alright. Don't listen to Tony.
Oh, son of a bitch. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
And Brett Murdoch.
Danger, Tony Polanco.
All right, guys, later.
Later, guys.
Peace.
See ya.